Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jay Wiggs, and welcome to the third part of the 21st Faction Challenge, where we are looking at points of interest, and believe me, this is going to be the final one. I'm okay, right off the bat, I'm gonna lower my volume a little bit, because I don't want my voice to die like the last stream. I'll still try to be as energetic as possible, though, even though I'll be lowering my volume just a little bit. I hope you all can still hear me. Make sure everything is all good to go. Let's double check everything. Right, let's hop right over. We are going to be diving right into the Discord, how it's happening, if you haven't seen any of the other streams, what we're doing is we're reading through the points of interest that you've submitted into Discord, and we are rating them 1 to 3 points based on how cool I think they are. All of these submissions, all of my judging is completely subjective. You may have your own opinions, and that's fine. Let me know in the faction chat what you think. If you thought I was wrong. So far, Prime is in the lead with 38 points, Strike has 22 points, and the Nova has 10 points, and we'll see how they do now. Right now, I'm just awarding points based on participation, so the more you participate, the better it is. However, I will be going back over these once this is done, and I will be awarding points based on my absolute favorite submissions. Now, unfortunately, this will be done off stream because it will take me quite some time, possibly half an hour, to look through and really get a feel for which ones are my favorites. But don't worry, the ones that just have a bunch, they are definitely, there's not guaranteed that they're gonna win, but I will definitely be announcing my favorites in the faction chat. But without further ado, let's get right into it. There we go. Let's get right into it. We are starting right where we left off. Watch my voice die. Yes, I will be watching my voice die as well. Right off the bat, we've got also, I forgot to mention, we do have penalties for submissions I feel are absolute trash. No offense intended, but I feel like some of these are joke submissions and they probably deserve one. And penalties, as I've discussed on the previous stream, will be used for preference. So if a faction has more penalties, then it's worse for you. You probably get last choice and stuff like that. Anyway, we are opening things up with Lumeria, Nova's oldest provincial establishment, also known as Nope, and Prime's still keeping it up with using an acronym, making things, they really wanted it to spell Nope, so it's the Nova's oldest provincial establishment. Right, long ago in the distant land of Plasmadion, which is where they built their capital city, I believe. They built Zordius capital, something like that. Before the factions existed, to brave the hardship of different tribes from various parts of the world united into one force called at the time the Great Union. The Great Union existed for hundreds, if not thousands of years, but eventually came to an abrupt end. This is a story of great division, a story about how faction became what they are now. Okay. As a civilization consisting, this seems more of history. As a civilization consisting of ethics from different ancestry, it was constantly clashing with itself on the basis of conflicting values. Eventually, the culmination of that was a controversial debate over the right of intellectuals over nature. Some tribes had seen their role as the people of protectors of the world, while others seen it as their possession. That's a very important differentiation that you have to make. Are you the protectors of the world, or is it your possession? And it definitely impacts how the tribes behave. How much you want to take from the land, certainly as well. This philosophical difference escalated when it was found out that descendants of Lumerius tribe, a Lumerous tribe, had been doing experiments on the animals and possibly even humans. This forced TGU to exile them and their supporters. Soon after, the tribe stood neutral in the debate, but valued such experiments, saw the writing on the wall, and followed the exiles. Those who stayed later formed the Prime Federation. I see. So I assume these exiles possibly go and they possibly join the Nova Alliance, I believe. The exiles went east back to Nope, their place of origin. I see. It's called Nova Oldest Provincial Establishment, a place located in what the Prime calls the Nova Beta territory. I assume that's Beta. I'm not familiar with the Greek letters, but I think that's Beta. From there, they expanded north and eventually moved their capital there, having more family-based values and mostly consisting of different clans as a huge part of exiles slowly distanced from the main group, drifting further east, and eventually both groups formed their own factions. Architecture of Nope has a style that can be called as primitivism. Cheap and blocky buildings that serve their purpose and don't stand out. Their monuments are done in abstract style. Those from Prime felt a different reaction from utter disgust, thinking it's atrocious, hysterical laughter, thinking this architecture is just elaborate satire. Cool. Very interesting how you're writing history for both Prime and Nova. Certainly Prime and Nova have their similarities, and they certainly did come from similar origins, unlike Strike. Strike seems to be a mishmash. So right, we got a bunch of tribes in the beginning. It seems like a bunch of tribes formed the Prime Federation. A couple of them got kicked out, and they kind of formed the Nova Alliance. And the Strike Coalition seemed to cover everything else, right? Because if you're a tribe, right, and you have Prime Federation and the Nova Alliance, if these bigger tribes coming together can definitely be, well, not bully, but there's certainly a lot to stand up to if you're individual. So the Strike Coalition pretty much is formed out of most of the other tribes that are basically, we're not Prime and we're not Nova, but we need to form our own thing. So Strike kind of runs independently, more independently of each other, or at least that's the idea behind it. I like this. I like the idea behind this. I'm not sure what you guys think of the origins of Prime and Nova coming from similar places, however, eventually splitting off because of this main difference, whether they are the protectors of the land or they are, it's their possession, isn't it? It's their right to take. I think that's a very key philosophical difference between, I think just even without this, it's definitely a key philosophical difference. Even though Prime as protectors, kind of, I said not really, but I guess it's a different type of protection. They're not really police, but kind of police, but not really. Anyway, I'm giving this one a, I'm trying to recall what I gave for the other ones. I think this one is more of a, I'm gonna give this one a 1. It's more of history of the past, and actually I'm gonna give this one a 2. I'm giving this one a 2. It's more of history of the past. It's definitely got some good ideas in there as well. Moving on, we have the Damon Outpost of Obliterating Praetor Archon, which is D-O-O-O-P-A. Nope, it doesn't spell anything, just wondering. Somebody knows how to abbreviate it, but you should not. D-P-A, is it called the D-P-A or D-O-P-A? Or A-P-O or O, I don't know. The Damon Outpost of Obliterating, I'm just going to call it the Praetor Archon, or as many know it, oh, it's called the Damon Outpost, is a huge roofed outpost close on the border between Nova and Strike territory. That belongs to one of the most ruthless Strike clans, the Daemons. The Damon Outpost is most infamous for its unforgiving staff and constant transgressions that it does against the other factions. The outpost has a total area of a few dozen square kilometers, much of which, especially towards the center, has yet to be explored. The air inside the outpost is very hot. Many describe it almost as being burning to the touch, as well as uncomfortably and unnaturally cold compared to the surrounding biomes. I feel like there's something special with all these bolded words. I feel like there's something going on with these bolded words. It's and the U right here. Alright, you get the joke. Enough of this grade school writing. I don't get the joke. I feel, why is this such a, is this something I'm supposed to get? For its unforgiving staff and transgressions against the other factions. Outpost is very hot, burning to the touch, uncomfortably and unnaturally cold. Hold up, is this an exact copy of the Forest of Blood? I don't think so. I don't remember this. Unless the Forest of Blood, yeah, I don't think, is this an exact copy of the Forest of Blood? Let's scroll up real quick and quickly look by Sume. It's a Sume. Forest of Blood, I don't see it. Oh, wait, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's pretty much, I see, it is. Wow, it is, I get it. It's kind of, it's a similar. Very, very nice reference. Okay, but, moving on. Oh, wow. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Okay, you're throwing shade at Sume's submission. Oh, I see what you did there. Enough of this grade school writing. Oh, that's not very nice. Located at the northernmost edge of Strike main territory, it borders both Nova Beta Pocket and Nova Alpha. Ooh, I like this Nova Beta and Nova Alpha thing that you've got going on from northeast and southeast respectively. While the dreaded Dara line of Prime's high reaches northwest. The Damon clan is passive aggressive, but it does harass missions. Last attempt of their transgression against Prime didn't end so well, as research facilities located at the southeast of Nova Beta Pocket and southeast of Nova. Infiltrating, they've stolen several prototypes, overloaded the reactor, and escaped Nova without Nova ever noticing. Until it exploded. That'll catch the attention. Of course, they later tried to use their new weapons against the Dara line, seeing how Strike is still bitter about losing the spearhead, but something went wrong. At this state, the main defense of the Damon Outpost is that it's a rather boring place with no resources or attractions. The only reason one would attack it is to get rid of that nuisance. Penalty. People are calling for penalties. This is borderline penalty. This is a borderline penalty. It's close, and I'll give it half of a penalty point, and then I'll give it half of a normal point as well. Yeah, I'm giving it half and half, certainly. Is it because of pressure? Not really, but kind of, and yes and no. But I'll give it half a point and then half a penalty point as well. Right, next one we have is by Lynn, the Fugilcasta. Fugilcasta is a group of islands forming a small city where the refugees from other factions come to Prime in search of a better life. This place is widely dispersed in culture, behavior, and religion. It's mostly used as a checkpoint, as immigrants to the Prime usually tend to move on finding better homes and jobs, though some prefer to stay and help new immigrants learn the Prime ways or improve the city itself. In times past, Strike members caught in constant infighting between clans, seeking to just lead a peaceful way of life, as Nova members fleeing the fear of execution for deemed unworthy to live were piling up in numbers with no place to stay. Seeing this as an opportunity to help those in need. Wow, this is prime propaganda right here. This is prime propaganda. Yeah, this is, wow, definitely framing Nova in a negative light over here. I see what you're doing. Seeing this as an opportunity to help those in need, Prime Federation came in and helped them out. Oh, such the hero. Starting in small makeshift town, giving the locals a chance to vote for the town's name. Wow, democracy. Eventually, as the city grew, it became a beacon to those who looked to live at a better chance. Oh, wait, what? Eventually, as the city grew, it became a beacon for those who look for a better chance at life than what they had in their faction. Factionless people who didn't want to be caught in crossfire. This, in turn, created an influx of immigrants, and although being the most prosperous faction, wow, Prime propaganda as well, we are the most prosperous faction, it did prove to be a challenging task for Prime to maintain a delicate balance of city, economy, ethics, and peaceful order. The city is located on the edge of Prime territories, naturally, close to the other surrounding factions, and although it's closer to the territory of Nova, it gets higher influx of Strike members. That's probably due to Prime being more opposite of what Strike is. Perhaps these people, due to not having strong family ties, can't find unity. Maybe they're just tired of militaristic tendencies. The Nova case, however, is clear. Not everyone's a scientist. Wow, it sounds like your Asian parents who are constantly pushing you into like the STEM fields, and it's like, well, I'm not a scientist, like, then quit Nova or something like that. Recently, there have been rumors about Prime using some sort of psionic propaganda device, but, I know, right? Some Prime using a psionic propaganda device, but such thing is probably an attempt of other factions to smear Prime. I know, how dare they? How dare Nova and Strike even bring up that Prime as propaganda devices? How rude. I like this a lot. I'm giving this an absolute 3. I'm giving this a 3 because I absolutely love how Prime is constantly trying to. It definitely seems like this was intentional. That you're trying to boost yourself up because you are Prime, and I think you're very well aware of what you're doing here. And I think it makes it a very good submission. This was definitely this has been a fun one to read. I'm definitely giving this one a 3. Right, moving on, we have the Abraxas Factory. I'm going to take a sip of water. Lovely. The Abraxas Factory, Abraxas, make sure I'm saying that correctly. The Abraxas Factory has its name because it's located on the Titan island of Abraxas, the 4th largest island in the entire Prime territory, just slightly larger than the islands of the Reach City, Jaikos, I can't remember what that was, and the Defender. It constantly exports a lot of goods into the neighboring regions, mostly to the Twin Harbors. Discovered by the explorers of the Prime Federation, meaning it was long after the Great Union was formed, Abraxas is a mountainous tundra rich in metals, oils, and minerals, but rather a barren flora. Wait. What? Is it rich in these, or a barren flora? Because but kind of cancels out everything it says before. Discovered by the explorers of the Prime Federation, Abraxas is a mountainous tundra, rich in metals, oils, and minerals, but rather a barren flora. Oh well. Initial explorers charted the island, but for a long time it wasn't developed. The settlement of Abraxas started due to discoveries of natural resources when neighboring cities had already had sizable populations, causing an event similar to a gold rush. Factories, mines, power plants were constructed, and to the shame of some, the joy of many, it pushed Greydons, who didn't like the factories, population away from the island. Over time, the development of the High Reach region, the Abraxas Factory, became a bigger and more proper settlement, uncharacteristic to most prime towns. Its architecture is mostly practical, less artistic. Nature is mostly mostly barren, and despite desperate attempts to improve the situation with parks, the city still has quite a bleak look. Factory city grew to a rather big size. From the rush of resources, it turned into something of a well-oiled mechanism working to boost the prime production. Living in this bleak city, the population often can be found trying to entertain itself in various clubs, drinking Alamer wine, watching the cinema, or having drone racing events, or shrieking eagle hunts, right? This is prime. Yep. Where was I? Yes, every year workers get a paid vacation leave to the nearby Lazarite Islands or the Luncta Sanctuary. The Abraxas Factory is one of two main exporters of thorium, a vital resource in prime energy production chain. For that, the Abraxas Factory has some military presence, even though there are no nearby borders with other factions. This is a cool one. I'm gonna give this one a 1. Not quite super standing out, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Floor is the plants, not minerals. That's why it's a tundra. Yes, I get that. Yes, I suppose so. Yes, mountainous, rich in metals. I guess that really should just be a barren flora instead of but rather a barren flora. It's just a little confusing. But rather usually kind of means that it's not all of this. But anyway, that's minor detail side. I'm giving this one a 1. Not particularly stand out. Yeah, not particularly stand out. But still cool nonetheless. The Tavern of Griffon. Oh dear, let's not read that. This is the Dynasty of the Noodle Griffin, or really the Dong, really? Cue the Oriental music. Long ago in an ancient kingdom's ascendants ruled over the main Tao city. They brought great joy and prosperity to the city, for they have invented noodles. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I get where this is going. Legends say of a legendary chef who traveled across the land in search of a worthy opponent. He was so legendary, in fact, that his competitors would lose all desire to cook after one taste of his legendary noodle. Hello, commentator. So legendary it was that anything they would pale in comparison. On one faithful day, this legend of an ascendant met a worthy foe. A wonder never seen before, a Griffin cook. Ooh. Their battle would be legendary, but in the end, the ascendant prevailed. Enraged by the defeat, the Griffin went on a rampage. Scarred for his life, the chef did the only thing he could: throw a bowl of noodles at the Griffin. By the miraculous coincidence, during that moment, the Griffin opened its beak wide to screech, and the bowl of noodles got right in, making it choke a bit. The chef used this opportunity to escape, but the Griffin, recovering from his sudden and shameful defeat, finally realized something very important. He realized the noodle was good. Soon the word spread, and what happened next you've already read in the Griffin submission. Nowadays, the ancient kingdom of Main Tao City is called the Dong the Dong. I feel like, is that some sort of... actually sounds like a Chinese, never mind, no it doesn't. Sorry, I'm just hearing things. It's a rare sight, for it constantly drifts in the midst of Griffonia. Nobody knows its exact location. It's a medium island of big size and has architecture never seen in the world. The people lucky enough to see it say hexagonal houses with stylish tiles on roof and stone roads. A modern noodle package would cost 1 to 5 million noodle pounds, which is a local currency, depending on its quality tier. Oh, I see. Yeah, there's supposed to be a full stop there. Yeah, that does make sense. Once upon a time, Strike would take it for themselves, but their pathetic attempts to fulfill their lust for noodle was just repelled by the Griffins. Baby Griffins. Now, I'm not sure whether I'm given... You see, okay, with joke submissions, you have to be very careful. Because it's either so bad it's bad, or it's so bad it's good, or it's good. There's like 3 options there. And unfortunately, I'm giving this one half a penalty point. I'm giving this one another half penalty point, plus 1 point. So this is gonna be the other half of the penalty point. It's like right in the middle. It's just meh. Unfortunate. To me, it's just meh. Yeah. I don't find this funny enough. This is the Prime, I believe. Yes. So Prime has 1 penalty point, a full penalty point, but they also got 1 point. It's like if you add it together, they got 1 penalty point and 1 point. So yes, they do have one 1 penalty point, which, I don't know, we'll see what the other factions do. Right, the next one we have, after I take a sip of this beautiful water, is the Zenith Citadel, aka Citadel of Hailing Peaks. Oh, and another, here we go again with the Chop. Chop is located, Citadel of Hailing Peaks. This is a cool name. This is a much cooler name. You had Prosperity City or some Progress City. You had, I can't remember, but Citadel of Hailing Peaks is really, really cool. Is that the honey water I mentioned last stream? No, this is just water. Chop is located at the southernmost part of the small Skylander segment of Prime territory, making it the furthest Prime outpost to the south. I don't know why I almost read that as north. When the settlement of SL, which is Skylander, finally began, Prime Fed found a few tribes living in that region, surviving in their cold climate of some triple O produce, which is the well-rounded. Pretty much, it's good for everything. You can eat it, you can cook it, you can skin it, you can make blankets out of it, you can make clothes out of it, that thing. Seeing the resemblance to their ancient forefathers, Prime Fed was sympathetic to them in their hardships, leading them a helping hand to improve their conditions. Prime brought in various specialists, and while the climate stayed harsh, the infrastructure clearly had many improvements. Now, my question here is, what did Prime get out of it? Because certainly Prime is, yes, okay, Prime might seem nice, but I'm very, very certain that there is an underlying factor to why they're helping them out. Probably, maybe it's because the land they're on is precious and they could use it. They could probably, I don't know, but it seems like their Prime definitely have ulterior motives. I think every faction would definitely have an ulterior motive. Sure, lending a hand is great, or taking in things from other, but there's definitely ulterior motives for all of them. Taking a look at the territory of that place, despite closest borders to other faction being that of far southeast Nova Alpha territory, Prime still decided that the region needed some protection. Villagers on the small island would clearly would not fit for an armed zone. Instead, so it was suggested to create a fortress nearby on the mountainous peak known as Zenith Mountain. On Zenith Mountain, water pushed by the air current gets captured at its cold peak and then condenses and freezes, turning into a hailstorm. Such condition provided a lot of challenges for the Prime architects, and it was decided to make this outpost something like the Fort Defender. Due to extreme condition of that place, and the Citadel later got named Chop, as it's not as advanced as the Defender and doesn't have a good supply line. The architecture is sturdy but very basic. The weaponry is almost automatic missiles and lower quality weapons. The real advantage Chop has is that it's staffed by locals who see it as a bastion protecting their homes. Due to the constant hailstorm, it's impervious to boarding, and the defenders would fight to the last breath if need be. And while it could be overwhelmed by sheer firepower, the estimated result of such a hypothetical event seems detrimental to the Prime command. Yeah, that's pretty much what fortresses are there for. It's that you don't really want to board them, but they provide a strong defensible location with a lot of firepower that you don't. It's gonna take certainly a fight. It's a place that's not going down without a fight. I think that's the role of fortresses in Islands of War. Probably fortresses wouldn't be alone. They might have a few military islands as well accompanying them to take out some of the smaller ones to help defend it. I like this. I'm giving this one a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, 2. I'm giving this one a 2. This is nice. And I don't know why is that a China flag? That looks like a China flag. Yes, it's a Chinese flag. Not sure why, but yeah. Next one we have is the K-Stall. This is by Strike. Ooh, we have a Strike one. K-Stall, located in the factionless territory between Strike, Nova, and Prime territory. Kistall, is it Kistall? I think it's Kistall, is a famous tourist destination. Ooh, we have another tourist destination. Theorized that formed from a chunk of the cortex that was filled with lava when it exploded. The entire island formed like a massive geode. Relatively small, with only about 2 kilometers in diameter and only 1 kilometer tall. The inside is similar to cave systems, except the cave walls are made entirely out of crystals. Scans reveal a large portion of the crystals are common crystalline minerals like quartz and amethyst, though there's a large amounts of uncommon energite crystals here. I'm going to write that down. Energite crystals here and there. There's also trace amounts of arcanite, but not anything enough to be significant. There's also a small inn on the surface for tourists to live in, and all the power on the island comes from the energite inside, since everyone knows they produce infinite energy. So energite produces infinite energy. In unanimous agreement between the three factions, the island is not to be mined because it's just that beautiful. I doubt, I mean, I guess for that, maybe if it doesn't really pose a strategic military advantage, it might not be, but I can see that changing. If wind currents change, then definitely some places which were previously off limits might be off limits, might be on for limits because it's such a prime location. No pun intended there. There are occasional cases of people who tried illegally mining the crystals. They're just thrown off the island when caught, since jurisdiction's not in the hands of any faction. I guess so. While mining is illegal, recharging the batteries is fine as long as you have proper equipment to sap the energy from the energite in the walls. Cool. Cool. The pronunciation guide is right there. I know. It says K-stall, but I like Kiss-stall more. I think it's cool. It's cool. Read YouTube suggestions, check out YouTube suggestions after the stream, sure. I'm gonna give this one, I think I'm giving this one a, I don't know. I want to give it a 2. It might be closer to a 1. I think I'm gonna give this one, I think I'm gonna give this one a 2. I think I'm giving this one a 2. Yeah, it's a, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm giving you a 1. There's just not enough detail there. But it's close. It's a suggestion for now. Okay, I will check it during the break, since I will most definitely be having a break sometime, since we still have a number of submissions to go through. I'd probably drink a bunch of water during that break. Right. Speaking of water, drink another bit of water. Next up, we have the Raismatau Cosmic Observatory. I'm not sure if that S is silent. I'm going to pretend the S is silent. It's now the Raymatau Cosmic Observatory. The RCO, also called the RCO. The RCO is one of 3 observatories of the Prime Federation. As it can be seen from its name, this one looks into cosmic phenomena. I see. Built to compete with the focused solar research of Nova faction, the RCO has some of the most advanced technology available to the Prime Federation. The RCO sits on an island that's quite small, only big enough to fit the RCO itself. It has none of the rudimentary defenses that scare off an occasional skybird, or it has none but rudimentary defenses to scare off an occasional skybird or sky eel. Since it lacks defenses, its only way of surviving an assault from the other factions is to stay hidden, and that's what it does best. The RCO is fitted with the most cutting-edge stealth technology. Not only does it stay hidden from the radars, but its specifically designed shield, yielded from the studies of the wind spirits and the sky whale, allows it to use a field of active camouflage that can be described as virtually an invisibility field. Of course, such technology would also prevent you from seeing out of it, so the shield's only a partial, lower half of a sphere. Thus, the only way to notice this tiny observatory without knowing its exact location is by getting to the same or higher elevation. It flies very high, higher than any observatory around, and goes anywhere throughout IIsla, no matter what territory it's in. The RCO gives Prime a lot of their knowledge about the solar system and the space around us, giving Prime a parity to Nova space technology and knowledge. Although while Novas are trying to weaponize the solar power or use it as the energy source, Prime is more focused on the cosmic phenomena in general and right now collects data rather than developing something. The one-of-a-kind stealth technology is kept at such a level of secrecy that it's not even used within military objects. Not even the CRF, I can't remember what the CRF is, but sounds important. Being much older, it has this level of technological secrecy. The only other object that do have the technology of this level is higher classification categories. Yeah, basically. Cool. I actually like this a lot. I'm gonna give this a 2. I like it a lot. I like the idea of your observatory, studying the stars and your cool shield, even though flying, okay, I'm assuming it's a larger island, so flying so high is gonna be very energy, it's gonna use a lot of energy. I'm not sure what the word I was looking for was, but it's gonna use a lot of energy because it's probably a larger island flying higher. That means it's gonna need to stay flying high, which is definitely going to consume a lot of energy. It's not its natural state. Because like heavier islands naturally just sit at lower levels, and lighter islands naturally sit at higher levels. So big island at a higher level, you got to keep it up in the air. Next one we have is the Port Genimus, aka the Twin Harbors. Didn't we go through? I'm pretty sure we've read the Twin Harbors. Maybe we didn't. I've just read it a lot. Use Google TTS for reading out the submissions. Actually, Why didn't anyone suggest that sooner? That's such a good idea. Even though it does, I think I will. I mean, next time we do this, I might just do that. That's such a great idea. But this time around, I'll go ahead and read every single one of these out. Because yeah, that's a good idea. But I'm gonna go ahead and read every single one of these out this time around. We've got the Twin Harbors. The Twin Harbors is the furthest northern part of the Prime Capital Zone. A huge main territory controlled by the Prime Federation. For a long time it had the name the World's End, for it was believed that nothing is out there, the north or east. Long expedition in both directions found no other land, so that the space has become known as the Great Emptiness. That, of course, has changed when a brave explorer named by Relum Quind finally made a trip across the GE and found what is known as the High Reach region. The GE was gradually renamed first to the Great Leap, and later, due to becoming a well-established trade route opposing the Long Road, it became known as the Great Road. TGR connects two big trading cities of the Prime Federation, the Twin Harbors and the Reach City. The TGR, the Great Road, each importing and exporting complementing goods for both region, while the Reach City is located near the natural produce and mineral-rich related cities and outposts. The Twin Harbors, on the other hand, has a more established prime territory and common exporter of technological, industrial, military, luxurious, and Ebro-related produce. To the east of the harbors, the Twin Harbors, is the Abraxas Factory, while south of it is the relatively new Fugocasta, a town of refugees and migrants. The Twin Harbors also lies on a great trade route spanning from the southernmost cities of CZ, which is the capital zone, through Zordius Prime itself and through the nearby prosperous cities. Most of the navigation to the Twin Harbors is in the capital zone is quite convenient, except for maybe the Traveler's Brace that located on the opposite western side of the northern side of the capital zone. A travel there goes through the Row of Madness or does a long hook into the capital zone, quite pointless. The Twin Harbors is a bustling port city located on two medium big islands with older architecture. Featuring two grand docks on opposing sides with a lighthouse, each to guide a lost traveler back to the harbors. I like this a lot. I like this quite a bit. I'm thinking, oh, what is it? Lord of the Rings. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan. I've watched the movies once and I can't remember most of it. Where there's these two giant, I can't remember which one this is. There's two giant statues on either side and they're taking a little boat through it. I'm thinking Twin Harbors is like that, except that instead of giant statues, they're giant, what are these, lighthouses or whatever. I like this idea a lot. That's what I'm picturing in my head. I mean, there's docks on either side and you like kind of pass through them. I like it a lot. I'm giving this a 2. You know what? Yeah, I'm giving this a 2. Yep. Yep. Next one is the Magna Miltum, or the MM. Grab a drink. Ooh. Of all the cities of Prime, there is one that especially stands out for its patriotic values. Ooh, Prime propaganda incoming. The city that is famous for its grand military academy, its exceptional pilots, navigators, tacticians, and strategists. This, of course, is the Magna Miltum, the city of heroes. Magna Miltum is a larger type, military-induced city. It is situated on one of the far west borders of the Prime Capital Zone. Consisting of a number of medium-sized islands, it makes its citizens to develop good mobility and navigation skills from the early age. Protection and heroism are the main motto of this city. To the northeast of MM, there's a grand library city, while to the north, chaotically formed settlements known as the Traveler's Brace. And to the east, there are the Great Eber Farms. On the west, after a small neutral zone, it faces the borders of the main strike territory. The city architecture is a combination between grand and practical, expressing the might and convenience. The city itself is heavily militarized, not only because of its but also due to having a close border with another faction. The MM is prime patriotic, holding ceremonies, parades, and having many statues and memorials to important prime individuals. The most grand and notable parade of them all is the Palladium Regium. I like that. I'm writing that down. Palladium Regium. It happens once a year, showcasing technology and might of prime weaponry, engineering, as well as skill and prowess of prime sky navigators and officers. People all over Prime flock to MM to see it. That's okay, that's questionable. In that, really, if you're showcasing technology, I assume this is not their latest technology, but probably just a show. because there's no reason to showcase your the most cutting edge technology so close, you said it, to another faction. They have a close border. That's a little bit dangerous because if you're showing it off, all it takes is a couple scouts to come over. I guess it's a military parade. It's not quite your most cutting edge. Your cutting edge, like, ooh, here, check out our latest stealth tech. Probably not. Besides, you wouldn't be able to see the stealth tech. And it's kind of hard to spy on stealth tech anyway. The most amazing attraction other than the PR is the Hall of Fame. It houses over 1,000 statues. The hall is a record of the most prominent people the Prime Federation has had over the years. In the middle is a very large plaque listing the names of all individuals and their grand achievements. The MM is a vital part of Prime Federation, providing many high-quality military specialists, officers, and commanders. Excuse me. It serves as a key power point in that region. Haha, PowerPoint. I like this. I'm giving this I like the idea of a military city. I mean, I guess this is an academy. It's academy city where the main focus is to train up the next generation of pilots, of gunners, of commanders, that type of stuff. I like it a lot. I'm giving this one a 1. A 2. A 1, a 2. I'm giving this a 2. This one's getting a 2. I like it, even though it's a little bit Prime Parade's so close to another faction, a little bit questionable, but I'm giving this a 2. Next one we have is the Grand Plaza of Unity, the GPU. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Built in the middle of Zordius Prime back in the days of the Great Unity, the Grand Plaza of Unity is the grand building towering over the city. The building itself is a combination of human, Tellurian, and Ascendant architecture. It's had several levels connected with each other, both by the steps outside wide walkways as well as within the huge halls on each level, each as big as a small town, each having residents, merchants, and craftsmen. The GPU has 4 entrances on each side with a massive gate leading into the walkways. The walkways have leaning roofs and a column-like support that connects the ledges of a lower layer to the upper one. GPU graphic processing unit, yeah, I see what you're doing there as well. First level can be described as a merchant alley, where traders of all sorts show off their goods to the tourists and citizens. The second layer is the residence zone, where common people of the GPU live. Don't let that common fool you. For those who can afford to live there are some of the richest people in Prime Federation. The third level is a Palace of Joy, where people come to partake in all sorts of entertainment and see the mastery of local performance. The fourth layer is the Administrorum, dubbed as the Hall of Whispers, a place filled with buildings and halls for the Prime Commanders to discuss general events. Is organized and often a quiet place. The final layer is the Grand Plaza itself, a huge open space at the top of this giant tower with gardens and fountains. The water from the fountains flow into small canals that go off the sides of the GPU, where pillars connecting the different levels are. There's a retractable metallic roof and would cover the entirety of the plaza if need be, connected to a pillar on reach of its corner and to a tower in the middle of the plaza. On top of this tower is a lookout spot from which the entirety of the city and most parts of the Plasmadian can be seen. Cool. J-Wigs is finally doing an ASMR Prime Submission reading stream. Is this ASMR? I can't exactly hear it. I can't exactly hear myself. I don't think this is ASMR. Unless, of course, I mean, I can turn the music off and we can turn this into ASMR, but I don't think so. Right. Also, I'm lowering my voice. I like this quite a bit. I like it quite a bit. But unfortunately, I'm only gonna give this one a 1. Yeah, it's a cool idea, but I don't know why I'm only giving this one a 1. It is what it is. Moving on, we have the how much more do I have to go? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. We have like 20. Oh, actually, we're fairly close. And by fairly close, I mean absolutely nowhere close at all. We've probably got like 15 more. Probably do a couple more, take a little break, and then drink a bunch more as well. How long have we been going for? Let me check the time. Oh, okay, it's only been 40 minutes. That's not too bad. Actually, the stream probably won't be that long, other than me explaining the next faction challenge. That might take a little bit, because it's very specific. The next one is the Cibus Citatum. Oh, okay, there's a pronunciation. Thank you very much. The Cibus Citatum. The Cibus Citatum. Further mentioned as CC. CC is a city and has anchored itself on 2 different islands. That's fancy. Thank you for bolding that for me. has become an important part of Prime's natural produce infrastructure. Although its biggest export is animal products such as meat, wool, and milk of O, a farm produce takes a vital part in the CC's economy as well. It's mostly centered on farming crops and animals, so it's mostly made of farmers and people that prefer fields and nature over bustling town locale. The CC, located in the upper side of the Prime territory known as the High Reach, and provides supplies to a nearby settlement, from the Dara line to the Journey's End villages, but most importantly to the Reach, a grand trade hub giving the local zone its name. CC produce is then spread all across Prime territory via the close and safe trade route. When the town of Sibis first started out, it was a settlement of people from the Reach on one main island, but as it grew, there was not much space left. An interesting solution has been proposed by one of the engineers at the time to via the power of drifters slowly move in a nearby island. Although the island was rather big in its size, over time they achieved that goal. By the time that was done, this new island already got some settlements. To celebrate this grand event, best Prime architect engineers were brought in to construct what can be called a bridge city, connecting two islands together. Now that is some fancy stuff. That is some creatively fancy stuff. Certainly that is a architect and engineer a marvel to connect two islands together. Certainly. Having close ties to the Reach and being a huge economic asset to the Prime, CC dubbed as Bridge City. Bridge City, it really, I mean, we can't just stick Progress City, Bridge City. We can't just stick a word based on what it is in front of city and call it that. Got to be a better way to do it. Became the most vital part of High Reach, supporting Prime military presence there, the borderline villages, the drifting observatories, Prime scientists looking into local creatures, and tourists visiting the Grand Desert Island. CC even sometimes rescues travelers off the long road and provides help to the recently claimed strike abandoned town. I like this a lot. I'm giving this a 3. I'm giving this a 3 because I really like it. I gotta feed into the strike, the area have for strike for their points, because Prime has a lot of points. I definitely like this one a lot as well. It's good. Yeah, cool idea. Next one we have is the Dara Line Archipelago Fortress. TLDR, no wait, TDLF, I see. Sometimes misspelled the Dreadline AF. Okay. Once the High Reach became a more established Prime province, other factions started to lay their eyes on it. Nova interested in the interesting properties of local creatures. Yeah, the water is wet. Strike interested in resource-rich Prime territory. Both factions considering the produce of Bridge City a valuable asset to their economy. Some attempts have been made, even from the northern Strike territory, to claim a piece for themselves, but it resulted in a great backfire. Seeing the determination of the other factions and understanding the importance of the region, Prime decided to amass its military presence there. But unlike other key regions, there were no massive islands to build a great fortress on. There was a huge desert island, but not only was it far from the crucial borders, it was also hard to maintain. The decision that Prime strategists came up with was rather bold and simple. They fortified the existing archipelago of north of Journey's End, enlisting the support from local villages. Now, this archipelago consists of numerous mobile islands of various sizes and firepower. It spans across the entire southeast border, protecting the High Reach from Nova from the east, and has a bulk of its force on the south, protecting villages from the ever militaristic Strike. The Dara line is considered one of the most fortified zones in IIsla. The supplies are managed primarily through using the trade route between. Of course, Prime is saying it's the most fortified zone in IIsla. It's Prime. The supplies are managed primarily using the trade route between the Reach and Journey's End, with Bridge City being the main food importer. There's quick emergency route force to support travelers with long road, since it's close to the Kunibade ends. As a note, it should be mentioned that there might be a military secret facility hidden within TDL, or in this case, Dreadline. There are no rumors about this place, but if there were, it would tell something related to psionic research on local fauna. Unfortunately, okay, I'm gonna say it here. Unfortunately, the whole site, I haven't exactly gone ahead and declared which of the animals are canon and not. Unfortunately, the psionic mind control, the stranger, more mystical beings did not make into canon. Unfortunately, the psionic ones did not as well. So they're a little bit they're a little bit stranger, and I have to not canonize them. But I mean, sure, you can include it, and I guess you really didn't know before now. But I'm going to be updating. I'm definitely going to be updating the Google Doc with all of these places. In fact, the next challenge is going to help kind of bring in all of these locations into one piece. I'll tell you that a little bit. Yeah, this one, I'm gonna give this one, I'm giving this one a 1. It's a decent submission. Nothing quite stand out there though. Next one we have is the Palace Swamp, and actually, before I go into this, map challenge, oh no, maybe not, we'll see. It's not exactly a map challenge. So don't get started making maps. You heard it here first. Don't get started making maps. The Palace Swamp, commonly misspelled as the Paul's Swamp. I think after this, I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break. The Paul's Swamp, commonly misspelled. The Paul's Swamp is located on the north end of the Titan island of Plasmatium, which is also the capital city. The swamp is situated north of the Great Lakes, and at the border of the island, it transitions into a small, forested area with hills that eventually resolve into little fields near the edges of the island. Far in the distance, you can see an arboreous Eontis Island, a nearby big island with its own history. I see you're ready throwing me off. You're throwing me off here. The Paulus Swamp is unusually clean for a swamp because prime citizens tend to have a care for nature to make sure they preserve the natural beauty of the swamp while keeping it clean by removing litter, pollutants, and protecting and restoring it from natural disasters. The swamp has lush vegetation and is home to many creatures, including flute newts, dragoon beetles, the one beetle Jwig struggles to pronounce. I think I know, the Dovahkikas, some Eber species, snakes, bayhons, and generally a great variety of creatures. Some even venturing into swamps from adjacent territories. You can find a loon or a gatlock here, or even see and hear a shrieking eagle. As per usual, Prime has a few forester rangers maintaining such places, and for some unspecified reason, creatures of the swamp are used to them. Some unspecified reason. I see. It would be unfair to pick a creature of interest among those, for some of them have already had few interesting specifics. A fire-breathing bug, a poison-shooting snake, you name it. A poison-shooting snake, you name it. What is more interesting about this place is that while it's a swamp, you can sometimes find uncharacteristic areas, like an opening where the land is quite solid and clean. Sometimes you'd find a strange rock. Peculiarities that stand out from convergence zones animals create because they indicate perhaps in ancient times someone lived in this area. It may be those inhabitants were the first tribes who moved south to form the Great Union, which later became the Prime Federation. Cool idea. That's a lot of detail. That is a lot of detail for a swamp. I like it. I'm gonna give this one a 1. Nothing quite stand out, but cool nonetheless. Very nice. Yes, as I said, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break. We are going to be pulling up the shop again. Let me quickly enable that. Live stream overlay. We're gonna enable the shop. Bam! We have this cool changing color over here. Very, very fancy. And I'm going to go into the countdown screen, and we're gonna get rid of those. And I will be back in just a few minutes. Like 2 minutes. And we are back. We are back. Right. Oh, I see. Okay. Someone's excited to see the penalties reign in the second half of the third stream. Well, I'm just looking down here, and it looks like we might have penalties coming up very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Let's quickly turn that up just a little bit. Right. We've got we have, I believe this is still prime. Yes, this is still prime. Just double checking. We have the Spearhead, or the Grey Warden. After the region of the High Reach was discovered by Quind and gradually became into an established zone, Strike, seeing the potential of it, decided to conquer the region. To prepare for an invasion, they set up a base on a promising big island, a base they dubbed the Spearhead. Oh, the Spearhead loses. I remember reading about this. The Spearhead loses, and Strike is salty about it, as in a spearhead of invasion. However, understanding the importance of the High Reach, Prime already anticipated something like that from the other factions and was moving in their military forces to build what is now called the Dara line. Also, the Dara line name is raw. It needs to be a little bit cooler, but sure, we'll take it for now. As it happened, the Spearhead Island only looked promising, but it was generally scarce in natural resources, surrounded by the Grand Desert from the south, dangerous wildlife from the west, and the airline blocking the supply route from Strike main territory further south, and a constant military tension with a superior force. Of course it's a superior force. Strike had no choice but to abandon the operation and return to the northern pocket territory. And that's why Strike is still salty about it. If Prime gets to make stuff about us, why can't you make stuff about them? Well, you could. Oh, I guess I'm seeing where you're coming from for the next one. We'll get to that in just a bit. Seeing that as an opportunity, Prime went in to reassemble what they could and rebuilt a small outpost into a small but well-fortified town, complementing the Dare line now known as the Grey Warden. Strike didn't abandon the town because they deemed it unsustainable, and to an extent that was true. It proved a challenge for Strike to resolve its issues and many items of that nature, which further prompted Prime to start development of those and fortify the region. Bitter after the fail of their operation, Strike forces began to harass the traders of the Long Road. The Grey Warden doesn't exactly look stunning. It's a mixture of Strike and Prime architecture that isn't exactly peak organization. Some improvements coming in over the years, but it has a distinct feel of a slightly deserved rural area. Right. This is interesting. I guess it's the Spearhead is a place that was owned by the Strike, and now it became the Grey Warden. Also, Grey Warden's not exactly a great name for a town or city. There are definitely better ones. I'm giving this one a 1. Not exactly a full penalty. Now, we move on to these two, and the challenge was, I think there was a challenge from Nova to make something in less than 150 characters. And this is kind of what it's come up with. Right, we've got the giant crystal ball. It's a giant crystal ball located on Prime's old Houses of Parliament, Zordius Prime. It turned up one day, falling out of a portal of many realms above and crashing down on top of it. The ball is a small plaque on the ball that says it's a present from G Moab and the rest of the Nova Alliance. Miraculously, nobody was harmed during the event, only the souls of the Prime Federation, after realizing Nova is superior. 150 letters, not characters. Oh, it's okay, 150 letters. So basically, Nova bombed the Prime with a giant crystal ball and vandalized their old parliament houses, pretty much. Yeah, if that's not an act of war, I'm not sure what is. That is literally dropping a giant ball, and then it literally says, hey, it's a present for you from the Nova. That's a questionable act. That's definitely okay. Prime is definitely taking that as an act of war. If a giant ball falls from the sky and it says, "Hey, it's from Nova, have fun," that's an act of war. This is the one that I probably was gonna give a penalty for. And I think I'm gonna give half a penalty point for this one. And I'm gonna give half a point as well. Because it's a cool idea. But but it is an act of war. If it's just a normal giant crystal ball, actually, that might have actually, if it was just a normal ball, I didn't read this before. If it was just like, hey, they've got a giant ball in the middle of their thing, that could have worked. But it's an act of war. Yeah, you can't just do that. Actually, you might be able to. You could do it with portals, but the technical is you need a portal somewhere within range. But yeah, this is an act of war. Very much so, and unfortunately I'm giving it half a penalty point and half a normal point. Yeah. Next one we have is the Oog land. This land is where big and little Oog live. They're not very smart, but is useful. Land has a lot of plants and trees, so pretty land. Us hunt Oog for fun. Oog are kind but can fight. Oog, Oog, Oog. Oh dear. Oh dear. Now this says absolutely nothing about anything. So I get that it's a joke, but this is a rather, yeah. This is a penalty. So Nova now have 1.5 penalty points. Oops, I put the monkey emoji. This is 1.5 penalty points. Prime over here calling penalty. Yeah, this is penalty. And it looks like, well, we're not done yet. We'll see. Something might come up. This might come up. And we'll find out if Prime can even up the score or even outdo Nova on the penalty list. No one warned you of a penalty system. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, I think I mentioned it a couple of times. I may have mentioned, I might have been a little bit too late. You might have already submitted. Anyway, next up we have the Graveyard of the Three Lands. The Three Lands is a place located on a huge island in the middle of 3 cities that was used as a graveyard. But since the collision, I assume the collapse, I guess, people started avoiding that place because of the rumors about the place. The place was cursed, and every person who dared enter would be dragged to a grave by its own shadow and be buried alive. Okay, I double checked that because I thought this might be Nova. Because I thought, okay, buried alive, cursed, everyone who enters, Nova's trying to kill us all again. But then I look and it's like Strike, so I'm like, wait, does Strike want to kill us as well? Maybe. We'll have to see. Maybe every single faction's out to get us. Let's see, where was I? Yes, a short amount of time was passed since the rumors started, and a dense cold fog started being emanating from the graveyard. Soon, the islanders decided to leave the cities around and settle elsewhere, far from that place, as the fog started consuming buildings and freezing the air humidity. Terrifying, totally terrifying. Some months later, the place was covered in ice with the souls of the dead. Slowly, the fauna around and cities began to die, being dragged to the center of the graveyard, forming a tall mound of animal corpses. Okay, this is getting creepy. This is something out of a horror movie. A gray tree started emerging from the corpses, absorbing the colors and killing the flora around the graveyard, while a crying voice was heard. This is definitely something out of a horror movie. Ralper, you need to stop watching horror movies. A crying voice was heard through the leaves. And don't listen to me. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You can go ahead and watch horror movies if you want. This island is now uninhabited and still being avoided by the other islands. Its ghost cities are still covered in ice fog, searching for souls to fulfill the gray tree's needs. Yeah. This is creepy. And I like it, but it's really creepy. And I'm not a big fan of the gray tree either, but I like it. So I'm gonna give this one a 2. But it's definitely not canon. I'm sorry, this is definitely not canon, but I like it. But this is way too suspicious to be canon, but I like it. Right, next one we have by SMP's brother. Oh wow, hey look, for the Prime spam have ended. We're back to Strike and Nova, yay. Sector W. Ooh, sounds cool. Formerly known as Sector 24. I assume, is W the 24th letter of the alphabet? W, X, Y, Z? I don't think so. That's questionable. Okay. Formerly known as Sector 24, a densely ice-packed styrofoam? Not sure. that seemingly appeared into existence during the foundation of the core, freezing everything in its vicinity. Located in the deeper realms spanning hundreds of kilometers across, Nova occupies the outer and middle livable areas of the sector, while the temperatures are around 277 to 253 Kelvin. So cold. So very, yeah, it says ice. It says ice. Yeah, so that's cold. That's cold. The energy had frozen the entire region and everything within it. From there, ice-like crystals were formed in the middles of the materials and covered with a thin protective layer of solid Aetherium. Okay, I'm assuming this is Aetherium, A-E-T-H-E-R-U-M, not ethereal. Ranging from 1 centimeter to 300 centimeters in its thickest, infused with densely packed energy, these crystals are highly unstable. A slight change in air pressure in the environment would set off these fragments, annihilating everything in the radius. The immense energy given off by just the fragment is tremendous and is used for specialized purposes. The crystals, Aetherium is not exactly a crystal. Aetherium is kind of like a jelly fluid, but sure, they're crystals now. Aetherium is more of a, I guess it's a crystal type, but it's more of a cylinder. Anyway, I guess they're crystals. Crystals are stored in a specialized case for storage. Only small amounts have ever been extracted from W. Potent crystals are found near the center of the sector. Once upon reaching the center, the temperature dropped significantly. Moisture and fumes in the air would freeze solid. Nova developed. Okay, classified suits and classified equipment are recommended. Is this actually code for something? Nah, they're copied. But it could be code. They developed, let's see, I'm not sure if this is supposed to look like, if I look at it like from a distance, maybe it'll show up. Probably not. Nova developed, I'm just gonna assume this is like crystal cryo anti-freeze suits, and crystal cryo anti-freeze equipment are recommended to preserve air pressure without disturbing the environment. Oh yeah, something like that. Actual description of the core sector is unknown. No known being able to venture deep into the territory. It's known that the huge amount of energy that resides in the core attracts a mythical creature that guards it. Cool. Cool. Very, very cool. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Very cool. I mean, it's cold, obviously, so cool. Yeah, I am gonna give this one a 1. It's not particularly, I guess, actually, you know what, I'm giving this one a 2. I'm giving this one a 2. It is kind of cool, though. Next one we have is the dumpster. Oh dear, maybe Nova's gonna outdo themselves. Inhabited by the sea leviathans located near the border. It's a dangerous place but full of treasures, as you can find piles and piles of broken or found by sea leviathans' island remains. Because of this, several adventurers who ventured into these places found their end or fortune, sometimes also used as a dumping stockpile by some inhabitants of IIsla. Stop spamming here. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Inhabited by the sea leviathans near the border. Okay, this definitely isn't a penalty. This definitely is not a penalty. The question is it? I guess it's a. I'm gonna give this one a half. I'm giving this one a half to cover. They had half a point. I'm giving this one the rest of another half. It doesn't go into detail enough. Next up, we have the peanut. Okay, Prime really, it's like they come up with an acronym and then they try to match it with something. J-Wig should have a cut blockling. That's actually a good idea. That's actually a good idea. I should get a cut blockling. You're absolutely right. I'll make myself a cut blockling. Even though I really like the one I've got right now. I think the one I have is probably one of the best ones. And the cannon one and this one that I've got, so Nuggets one and mine, I think are the best one out of all of them. I probably need to do a content expansion for the stream overlay sometime. Right, the Prime Everyday Advanced News Universal Transmitter. To bring the truthful events to the citizens wherever they go, Peanut delivers your news on every corner of Prime Federation. Prime propaganda! Yay! It generally has an office in every city. This is their news network, basically. It generally has an office in every city and covers all the Prime territories and even delivers some messages to the other factions. Like, we hate you. The building itself is usually an off-the-run-mill high-rise building with a small landing pad door to the outside, and a bunch of antennas various heights on top, or one-way glass windows covering an entirety of the walls. In some cases, the building also has a massive billboard on top with massive letters spelling peanut news for the whole city to see. Oh man, peanut news, really? Like, as something so glorious as the Prime Federation comes up with their news network called Peanut, doesn't exactly sound right. The building's usually located near the center of the city, but there are cases where a rural city doesn't have enough buildings to fit the usual amount of workers, so they settle with a man-made island in the shape of an enormous peanut. Floating outside the city in a location it can be seen from just about anywhere. Very surprisingly, the emblem of Peanuts is a peanut, with an antenna looking similar to a walkie-talkie mixed in with an almost ancient dial-up phone. Keeping the transmission of various messages allows Prime Command to stay one step ahead of potential disasters and androgen issues? Androgen? What's androgen? Moving islands out of harm's way or boosting defenses in an upcoming attack. Of course, they do various radio frequencies that are constantly changing with key transmitted in the coded messages. Some frequencies have even ciphered messages in them that are impossible to decipher without knowing the code word. Peanut penalty? It's funny how I'm looking at the chat and I see the Nova members calling for penalty on the Prime submission and the Prime members calling for penalty on Nova submissions. I see you guys. I see what you're doing, and I'm definitely taking it into account. Penalty? Does it call for a penalty? I don't know. I don't think so. Let me finish it first. Oh, okay. In recent news, somewhat a comedic manner of Prime Command has been sending some mockery messages in response to transgression of other faction. The message says that, and it leaves many guessing whatever does it mean. I'm assuming this says stay in school, kids. Ah, very nice. Stay in school, kids. Okay. Honestly, yeah. Penalty. It might be a penalty. It's a okay. I'm gonna give this one half a point, half a penalty point, and half a normal point as well. And that's the Prime, because it doesn't exactly. It's a cool idea, but it's also peanut, really. Slightly disappointing. There's so many better, and I mean it's in the shape of a giant peanut. Not exactly. Yeah, you get half a penalty point and half a normal point. Yeah. Right. We have the Sky King's Companion, or the TSKC. It's an observatory of the Prime Federation situated that follows the sky whale around and looks into its condition. Seeing how the sky whale is considered a natural wonder by all, no faction bothers attacking the Sky King's Companion. Although its location isn't exactly known to everyone, it sends out a signal to all the radio stations around the globe. It has some derelict equipment, I almost said that again, that holds its own to the low modern standards. That equipment was made by master craftsmen made to last and had a quality that was way ahead of its time. It has all sorts of mechanisms that do their job and will probably need replacement soon. Nobody remembers how or why they work or what purpose they serve. Without a doubt, you could find a detailed instruction somewhere in the Great Library for each and every one of them. You would just need to look through the hundreds of thousands of the machinery segments there. Purpose of others, however, is abundantly clear. First of the obvious constructions here is a huge basin designed to catch, fit, and contain the sky whale in case it ever falls out of its orbit. So you can imagine the island itself is rather big as the sky whale itself. Managing to launch it to those heights is another testament to the mastery of past craftsmen. Another interesting technology is the man-piloted flying apparatuses, something like an ancient version of a drone that apparently serves another purpose related to helping the whale. The stuff of the Sky King's Companion thinks in case of emergency, they should be used to group with the net between them in order to ease the landing of the sky whale. Interesting. Of course, the observation alone brings in some interesting results, and therefore a lot of base-level secret data comes down to the Prime headquarters from the Sky King's Companion. As you can guess, seeing how the bottom side of the sky whale is transparent, particular technology was indeed discovered here. But I never told you that, and if I did, you already forgot that. Yeah, I wonder where Prime gets their stealth technology. You'll ever wonder. Cool idea. I'm giving this one a 1. It's very interesting that I don't think sky whales ever need to fall out of orbit, because Because Skywheels don't exactly need to. I mean, they're before you guys came along, don't exactly need help. So falling out of orbit's not something they do. I suppose it is a safety hazard if anything ever did fall out of orbit. That would be very dangerous, but I don't think they're going to be falling out of orbit anytime. So Skywheels stay in orbit after Dwath. I'm not quite sure what you mean. If all of Nova's submissions get penalties, then all of Prime... Oh, I see. Basically, Prime calling for Nova's submissions to get penalties, and Nova calling for Prime's submissions to get penalties. Yeah, no. Yeah, so I'm giving this one a 1 point. Next one we have is the Island of Stars. The Island of Stars, Starland for short. Oh, I believe... Did we see this before? Possibly not. No, not from Nova. The Island of Stars is a very small barren island which holds many secrets. It may seem normal at first, about with a few trees and bushes, but wait, what? It may seem normal at first, floating about with a few trees and bushes, quite small actually, but as you get closer it changes. Bright spots of light start to form, blinding most that come near. But for those prepared to see through the light and find a very strange creature, once spotted, it starts to melt, and all the stars combust, flinging anything back in its path. Must be Nova. Yep, it's Nova. Not much is known about the creature, other than the fact that it's quite large and doesn't have a form. Most who survived it, seeing it explain a strangely unsettling bipedal with the posture of a human. This is definitely Nova trying to kill everyone again. There are tales that come from hundreds of years ago saying that it's in search for more stars so it can finally destroy everything it deems not enlightened. Definitely Nova at this point. Definitely Nova. Located strangely near the cortex floating around aimlessly, it's also rich in sheep. Okay, I see. Another one of the most cataclysmic things created by Nova. Yes, Nova, stop trying to kill everyone. We'd all appreciate it if every now and then you didn't create a being in existence that wasn't strangely unsettling bipedal with the posture of a human, that it can search for more stars so it can finally destroy everything it deems not enlightened. Commentator said killing everyone is fun, and it blocked the message. It held the message for review. Which is kind of funny that YouTube chat would block that type of... I mean, I guess it makes sense. If you say killing everyone is fun in YouTube chat, what do you expect? I'm gonna hide that message so no one else can see it. Yes, I deleted that message. Yeah, that was... Thanks, YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. I'm gonna give this one... I'm giving this one a... I don't know. I'm giving this one a 1 point because Nova trying to kill everyone is funny. But also it's pretty decent, but it's not. Yes, I know, commentator, it was a joke, but YouTube doesn't take jokes very seriously. YouTube doesn't take jokes very lightly. That's what I meant. Right, next one we have is the Great Library. Oh dear. I just saw, wow, okay, I see. We've got very, very short descriptions. The Great Library is the main national library of the Prime Federation. Yes, I've heard a lot about this Great Library. It is said to contain over 300 million items from various parts of IIsla. The Great Library receives copies of almost every book produced in all of IIsla. Almost every copy. I mean, I bet the Nova's hiding some stuff from them. Originally built by the founding members of the Prime Federation after realization that nobody remembers when the Great Union happened. The Great Library has many centuries of history, some of which can be seen from the detailed sculptures of historical figures added in honor of great leaders, heroes, and scientists of the past. Most certainly 90% of these are Prime, because, I mean, great leaders, heroes, and scientists are only from, I mean, it's just Prime. I mean, Nova great leaders, Nova heroes, Nova scientists? What are those? As Prime Federation's tradition, every few years, the Great Library is expanded upon bit by bit. The numerous items of the library are sorted by the language and the topic, with most of them being translated into Mypra. The Great Library is currently the greatest library known to man, and Mypra is it's like a high language for the Prime Federation. It's like a higher level, like people with a high level of education speaking, or they understand Mypra. Scientist part's definitely 90% Nova's ancestors. While it might be, I mean, certainly Prime could take credit for things themselves. I doubt that you would have, I mean, history is written by whoever's writing it, which is kind of water is wet. Yeah, history is written by whoever's writing, and if you defeat people, they no longer are writing history. History is written by victors. The Great Library is located close. Oh wait, the numerous items of the library are sorted by language. Oh, I've just read that line. The Great Library is located closer to the middle of the Prime Capital Zone, the northeast of Magna Miltum, north of the Natural Forest, and east of Plasmatium, on which the Great Library is on a small town of scholars and librarians. The library looks like a round tower. It has a waste building at its foundation. Within the tower, there's a globe-like construct, not a crystal. It's a globe-like construct depicting, not a crystal ball, globe-like construct depicting the location of all known major islands in a small, thin copper plate in the shape of an island. Several movable parts as to represent different elevation levels. History is written by victors. Nice one, Dr. Victor. Very nice one. At the entrance to the Great Library, there's a sign that says the Great Library, delicious, of Prime Federation. Clearly an artistic mistake is kept to remind... What? Clearly an artistic mistake, it is kept as to remind to discard irrelevance and not fall into hubris in the pursuit of knowledge. Wait, they misspelt the word library. In all of their hubris, they misspelt the word library as a lesson that, oh, actually, it doesn't matter. Really? That's funny right there. That's funny. Since Prime Federation value knowledge and sadly knows what can happen if it falls into the wrong hands, some of the Great Library requires special access level. Rumor has it that there are some item that kept secret even from Prime higher-ups. Only few truly know what is in those items. Even if one of them knows them, he'd never find without knowing where to look. Great Library, I'm giving it 2 points. I'm giving Great Library 2 points. I like it. I like Great Library. It's an Undertale reference. I see. Okay, I still haven't played Undertale, even though I think I own the game now. I still haven't had the time to play Undertale. But okay, I see what you mean. Okay, I'll let it slide then. Next up, we have, so 2 points for the Great Library. Next up, we have ball houses. Not an exact area, but they're large buildings scattered across Nova's land, which mark our boundaries and look nice, and also have a bunch of balls in them. Actually, that's kind of cool that you've marked your boundaries. I really wish you went into more detail. Next one is the Crystalline Mines, a large mine owned by Nova that is extremely rich in crystallium, which Nova uses for all the mighty balls. That is goodbye. That's it. Goodbye. Really wish you went into more detail here. I'm gonna give you half a penalty point for this. Even though it is cool, so I'm gonna give you half of a normal point as well. But I mean, these are some interesting ideas, right? What do the ball houses do? I mean, not exactly ball houses, but how does it mark them? Really wish you went into more detail here. Yeah. Next one we have are the Illu, I assume. Okay, so if IIsla is the Essence, this is an Illumi Museum / zoo. Ooh, cool. The Illu are two buildings connected. One of them has the function of a zoo and treatment center for creatures that inhabit IIsla. The other has the function of the museum / gallery. Strong tourist spot and also a source of attraction for some families and schools. The entrances to the two buildings normally revert to animals in the zoo or the promotion of new artists or other causes. The museum part. The museum is divided into two parts, one with a gallery in which several new artists present their works, and they have every month they have a new exhibition. Another part contains the history of IIsla, in addition to containing some of the most recognized paintings, such as Gnorilius, I see, and the cup. The zoo part, the zoo is the, I'm giving you points just for that. That's cool. Yeah, and you can draw. I want to see a Gnorilius and the cup. I want to see these eventually in game artwork. You fire it up, everyone can participate. I want to see some of these in game artwork as this. You're punishing you for creating a challenge. Not exactly. I'm not punishing you for creating something for the challenge. The zoo is also divided into two parts, and a more reserved part in which some have creatures with more serious injuries that should not be exposed to the public, and a part but the rest of the creatures are almost recovered or exposed to the public. First of all, the animals, I lost my place. First of all, the animals in the zoo are temporarily, as they are animals that need some kind of treatment and will be released after the treatment is completed. So Nova's also taking the we don't keep animals in the zoo route. Right. Second, not all species are found here. Some of them are too huge and don't fit on the building. In addition to that, there are also extremely dangerous species that are simply in the treatment area and never leave the treatment area until complete recovery. Once recovered, the creatures are released and a photo of them is put close to the place where they are before. There's a large wall at the entrance to the museum with pictures. Animals that can normally be seen at the zoo, that cannot be normally seen at the zoo. I like this. I'm giving this 2 points. I'm giving you 2 points, and part of the reason is because of that. Yeah, I like this a lot. All the ball ones are linked. I see. Why no bonus points? Yes, this one gets 2 points. Very, very nice. Next up we have, yes, I want to see the J-Wig IIsla. Everyone go at it. I might try. I'm not exactly sure what the cup would be. But yes, I want this would be very, very cool. The ball cannons, separate large buildings scattered across Nova's land, which are used for yeeting their mighty balls. Oh, really? Really? There's no detail about it. It's just, hey. And it's not exactly a point of interest exactly. I mean, you just mentioned, hey, there are several large buildings and they throw large mighty balls. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm giving this one a penalty point. Just a full penalty point. Why? Okay. Why am I giving penalty points? Is because it's not exactly fitting the challenge. Not quite. And it seems rather low effort as well. And so that's why they're getting penalty points. And yes, it's from Strike. I have noted that down. So Strike have a penalty point as well. Yes, I know Strike wrote that. Wait, 1.5? No, yeah, I got that Strike wrote that. All the others have been by Nova. Yeah. So Strike, yes, I've got that Strike wrote this. So far, Prime has 1.5, Strike has 1, and Nova has 2 just from this challenge. I'm not saying don't make it, but do at least put a little bit more effort. If you do want to make a joke submission like this, then at least put a little bit more effort into it. Just a little bit more. 1.5 penalty points. Actually, I think we're gonna stick with 1 as the maximum. I'm gonna go too hard on them. Like for example, this one at least has got some effort. Just look at this. There's a little bit more effort. Although I have yet to read it, so I don't know how much it's gonna hurt you. Yeah, how dare Strike take your penalties? I know, right? Strike, constantly stealing people's stuff, including penalties. Can't have stuff in Strike. The I love this name, by the way. The Gnorilius Wasteland. Ooh, yes. The Gnorilius, I don't know exactly how to say that. The Gnorilius Wasteland. The Gnorilius Wasteland is a memory of a deep, dark past. Ooh, Nova trying to kill everyone again. The Gnorilius, it's a joke. I'm just kidding with that, but it kind of does seem like they are trying to kill everyone. Gnorilius was a large island inhabited by many different creatures, including intellects. This place was not owned by any faction. In fact, it was a place for outcasts. Okay. Those who failed within their faction flew to this place to find a brighter future by joining the many different groups that lived in harmony on this island. Unfortunately, this island became a testing ground for the faction's weapons and experiments. Hold on. So people left their faction to find harmony on an island, and the faction in turn decided to weapon test on that island. That is some low blow for the factions. Certainly none of the factions are admitting to this. Like, oh, look, it's used as a testing ground for its magical balls. A magical ball just drops out of the sky like it did in Zordius Prime. And Nova's like, nope, that's not us. And everyone's like, sure, that's not you. Just like we're not blowing it up either. And Strike's like, yep, that's not you. You're not blowing it up because we're not using it as target practice too. There are war crimes going on. In all honesty, this is probably the most honest submission in that each faction is definitely committing war crimes somewhere or another. And right here is pretty much that. Yes, exactly. That, yeah, they're all doing stuff. Everyone's doing stuff. This is the harsh reality of what actually could be happening. One day, this island suddenly became encapsulated by an ominous green cloud. Prime's not owning up to it, even though everyone's like, it's green. Nova's not owning up to it, even though everyone's like, it's poisonous. No one knows what caused it. It's mysterious. And Strike's not owning up to it because they're like, why are you looking at us? No one knows what caused this mysterious phenomenon, but disappeared after weeks to reveal, drumroll, a wasteland, because that's what happens when an island becomes encapsulated in an ominous green cloud. Thank you very much. Everything was dead. Nova trying to kill everyone. The plants, the creatures, the intellects, lifeless corpses littered the surface of the island. However, the factions only saw this as an opportunity to continue their doings. This continued to be a zone for the factions to test weapons and experiments, and the life that used to cover this island is almost forgotten by all the factions, probably to avoid any criticism from the government at that time. Wow. Wow. Okay, this is a harsh submission in that it's oh man. This is absolutely this is the dark side of the factions. This is what the factions don't want you to know. Okay, it's extremely gory and graphic though. This has got to be a 3. This has got to be a 3. This is a 3 submission. Throughout history, definitely countries are definitely, even though they might not admit to it, but why would you give extra points for war crimes? I'm not giving extra points for war crimes. I'm giving extra points for the idea of war crimes. That sounds terrible. No, war crimes are definitely Nova's definitely had their fair share of hey, let's just kill stuff and blow stuff up. But this, putting every faction, this is definitely war crimes for everyone. Why would I give extra points for it? Because it's the harsh reality of, if you do have a world like this, then definitely you're going to get people who are definitely going to abuse their power. And everyone knows Nova's throwing their magic balls on it. It's just people refuse to believe it. It's like Prime's blowing it up, Strike's using the creatures as target practices. After it gets encapsulated by a green cloud, then it's pretty much, let's just keep beating it up. It's a very well written. It's not very long, but it's still very well written and well imagined. So definitely 3 points there. That has got to be one of my favorite submissions because it's so harsh and real. Most certainly. Definitely. Wow, that was dark. That was a deep, dark past. Like, understatement of the year. Gnorilius Wasteland is a memory of a deep, dark past. That is like the darkest thing in all of IIsla. Absolute darkest thing. I'm not even sure I should even write this in the lore. Like, this is something that happened, but this is very graphic. Good job. Why is everyone piling up in one stop in the blockings? I don't know. They do what they want. Next up, we have, on that note, we have J Wiggles Land, and this seems like a joke off the bat. But I will, if it's a good joke, we'll give points to it. If it's not, you know what happens. We all need a rest and fun place, and J Wiggles Land is the perfect place for that. It sounds like an amusement park. Known for its J Wiggles roller coaster and its other J Wiggles amusement, it's an amusement park. Usually it doesn't stay long in the same place, but it's always easy to find this attraction. It's also a version of the J Wiggles Land, but called Cup Land, and don't forget to visit it too. Okay, unfortunately, this isn't as it's not very funny. It's just kind of like, it's a joke and there's a punchline. And it kind of fell flat. I'm sorry. This is getting a penalty point. It's not exactly that funny. Yeah, sure. Okay, it's an amusement park. Great. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is getting a penalty point. Okay, with the jokes, let me just say this. You go all in or you don't go in at all. If you want to make a joke, go all in. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Definitely just if you want the joke, go all in and embrace it. Embrace the joke. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. This could have been cool though. This could have been cool. Yeah, so okay, there's definitely risk of going all in and going for a joke submission. That maybe you'll earn a penalty. There's also probably an incredible reward as well. Like this could have easily been a joke. It could very have easily been a joke, but it definitely took a serious turn. What other ones have possibly? The poem that Magician did. Not exactly a joke, but definitely went all in with it. If you're gonna do something, go all in. Fian suggested art nicer Novas. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. This isn't something personal. Again, I mean, this is just my take on it. You guys can think differently. Next up, we have the resting IIsla. Ooh, we're close to the end. We are very. Ooh, actually, never mind. No, we're not close to the end. We've still got like 10 submissions left. 9 or 10 submissions left. We have the resting IIsla cave kill zone. The Rick is a place in the realms that no sane person. Oh, I see. You're taking a page out of Prime's book. You know, Rick and then resting IIsla cave kill zone. Oh, again, Nova kill zone. Wonder why. The Rick is a cave complex. The Rick is a cave complex controlled by the violent imps. These little annoying imps swarm the islands that house the Rick and set up their devious defenses all over. Kill zone. Yes, all intellects have tried to get near the Rick have disappeared, presumably eaten by violent imps. Long-range sensors and cameras have been able to pick up weird signals from the island, like a celestial form of electricity. Nova has been able to closely monitor the Rick through a sacrifice made by Sir IIsla. That's why it's the resting IIsla cave zone. He ventured all the way to Rick and flew his island into the cave complex. IIsla was never heard from again, but the drones that were on the island were able to fly off and seep into the cracks of the cave. These drones have been slowly shutting down, either from running out of power or the violent imps taking care of them. But the few that remain are able to inspect the mysterious that hide within. Some of these strange knowledges aided Nova in some of their technological advances and helped their technology become the best in IIsla. Nova has also picked up sounds inside the Rick that seemed to form a song. The intellects and the imp both know what's going on, but they're just too shy to say it. I see what you're doing here. Okay, actually, this is not getting a penalty. I'm giving this a point. I'm giving this one 1 point. This is not actually. It's serious enough. I mean, sure, there's jokes littered throughout it, but it's serious enough to not deserve a penalty. I'm sure Nova forced him to go down there. Yeah, absolutely, coming from the Prime guy. Right. Next up, we have so this one gets a point. Next one we have KKS from KXLook, the Industrial City of Zearth. Love that name. Zearth. Yes, I'm saying it correctly. The Industrial City of Zearth. Love that name. Pronounced Zearth has one of the largest industries of the Coalition, providing millions of jobs. The city, since the war has started, has become the largest supply of weapons to the Coalition. With its high-tech research to the south, usually this is the first place new designs are made. It has become the second largest supplier of other goods such as tools. With cheap housing and labor, the city makes up 14% of the Coalition's population, falling behind the capital's 17% and above the Verfalis 12%. Capitals? Who are the capitals? Are these different factions? Wait. Not quite sure. These three cities are interconnected with large highways, making it part of the triangle. The triangle? Okay, so the strike has a triangle. Not the instrument, but a triangle, like geographically. The culture here has a massive variety. Almost every food is sold here, even rarer ones from the other territories. There are many different religions. This does cause some problems, as riots do happen from month to month. You know, just on the off chance we have riots. But usually not a problem, as Coalition strives to fix all problems. And I do think that's, the Coalition is formed of a lot of different cultures. Probably the most diverse out of all the three factions, I'd say. And they definitely would probably have internal fighting as well, which does make it hard for them to keep up as a faction. That is something hard. City's major downsides. Most all the imported materials come from other places. Almost all of its power comes from its verfalis. Oh, I can't remember what that was. It's also very crowded, but a measure has been put in place to slowly spread the islands apart. Cool. Cool. I'm giving this one 2 points. I like it. Yeah, I like it. Very nice. 2 points. Next one we have is the Tiranow Research Facility. Also another good name. Man, that's a really good name. See, instead of just like Prime Base Research Facility, see, actually coming up with cool names instead of having it to become some sort of acronym is a lot better. These names are so much better than primes. The Tiranow. Yep. Okay, nice. Thank you so much for that pronunciation as well. A top secret strike research center for testing on Ludicrum. I believe we have already, yes, Ludicrum. As one of the toughest mineable minerals, the extent of how strong it is needs to be tested. Ludicrite's also one of the rarest materials, so it has to propose products with reasonably low amounts of Ludicrum in, while mostly everything proof machine cases and weapon insides. Oh, everything proof machine cases and weapon insides. Got it. Prime gets penalties for mediocre names? No, unfortunately not. Constantly on the move and appears like normal cluster islands from the outside, which is best because of the constant pretentious prime pestering problems. Rumor is that it has been extremely close to Cortex multiple times, testing the strength of Ludicrum on the radiating heat itself. Interesting. Remember to remove this part below. Any Ludicrum tested on has come back completely unscathed. Don't ask me how we may give anything. We have no idea either. Cool. I like this idea. Flying really low, testing products. Cool. I like it. I'm giving this a 2. I'm giving this a 2 as well. Yeah, definitely a 2. Next one we have is the... Ooh, we are very close to the end here. Very close to the end. What time is it? Ooh, wow, we've been going for 1 hour and 40 minutes. It does not feel like that. I'm gonna look back at these faction challenges and go, how on earth did I make it? How on earth did I make it through all of this? I have no idea either. I'm honestly enjoying reading all of these. Prenovstri. Thank you very much for that pronunciation. Also another cool name. Prenovstri is a prosperous trading hub used by all the factions as a black market. Oh no. All goods are sold here from Swirlop meat. Swirlop, how dare you? Dr. Victor, how dare you sell Swirlop meat to Deadly Missile Blueprint? Okay, Deadly Missile Blueprints are okay. See, I mean, okay. Mass genocide's okay. No, this is a joke, by the way. Just a disclaimer. Mass genocide's okay, but Swirlops, you cannot kill the Swirlops. Mass genocide is not okay. Don't do that either. But don't kill Swirlops either. Like, Swirlop meat? How could you? The actual location changes frequently. What you need to do is you need to go and you need to look at the beautiful pictures of Swirlop wood painted. And then you need to come back to this and edit it to say triple O meat or something like that, or Screeching Eagle meat. Or Noodle Griffin meat. Not Swirlop meat. No. Swirlops do not get to be treated like that. The actual location changes frequently to avoid any of the governments intercepting the illegal deals. It's believed that many criminal masterminds visit here to devise cunning plans and buy precious gear and supplies. Because of its secrecy, not much is known about this trading hub, but if you ask the right people, you might be able to locate Prenovstri. It's a black market, of course it's illegal. I like this because I can put it into the game. I like it a lot because I can put it into the game. Yeah, I don't think a black market would stoop even that low to eat Swirlop meat. Like that is some horrendous treachery that you've just done. Even suggesting Swirlop meat. But that being said, I do like it a lot. So for that, okay, if you didn't have the Swirlop meat, I'd give it like a 2 or a 3. But because you do have that, oh, why? It's so close to greatness. I'm gonna give you a 2. I've taken off a point because of the Swirlop meat, but I'll still give you a 2. There will always be some people who would want it, yes, and we don't talk about those people. Those scumbags. We do not talk about those people. We prepare these 2 submissions, but due to lack of... Yeah, so I'm giving you a 2. But, oh dear, please. No. No swirl out meat. Ever. Yeah, we don't talk about those people. We prepared these 2 submissions, but due to the lack of submissions per person, we can't post them. We post them anyway. Disqualified. You're not giving any points. However, they're complete interconnection between the subs so that you viewers have a full picture. I see. Okay. Just based on these names, it's kind of glad that you got disqualified, because I would start looking at my penalty points and going, Staub Dodo and Nicholas Doe? Excuse me. Oh, no, please don't. Please, no abbreviations. Oh dear, you went ahead with abbreviations, didn't you? Penalty, I mean, you're kind of disqualified. I think that's a penalty. You're a penalty for disqualification. I mean, you did post these. I'm not going to give you penalties for these. I'm not going to give you penalties for these. Because these are simply to complete the picture, whatever picture that might be. That being said, they are disqualified, so I really shouldn't go through them at all, because they are disqualified. These are for everyone else to go through, I guess. Yeah, so there we go. I think, yeah, so I'm sorry, I'll just skip them then. What do you think about that? I will just skip them. So they're not getting a penalty, but I'm not going through them either. So you can read them in your own time. They're at the bottom of these submissions. So yes, I think that's what I will do. Right! Wow, that has been quite incredible. There's some really good places that have come out of this. There have been some not so good places. But there are some really good places. So I'm just assuming that these are just there. These ones are just there for you to get a full idea of what they were working on. There are some really good submissions in all of these. So we have points. We have points here. I will also be going through these a second time right after the stream, and looking through them and picking which ones were my favorite. You know what? You know what I can do? I think I'm gonna pick them now. Right now, okay. We have the Luncta Sanctuary, and I think I'll give my favorite ones an extra 10 points or so. 10 points is a lot. I think I'll give them 5 points. 5 points? Is 5 points good? I think 5. You know what? We'll be in the middle. We'll give them 8 points extra. So we'll have a bunch of specials. I really like the Luncta Sanctuary. Really like the Luncta Sanctuary. And yes, this one's definitely earning it. So I'm going to give you 1 special for this, and I'll multiply by 8 after I'm done. Luncta Sanctuary is definitely my favorite. I'm going to go through all of these really quickly one more time. Just to have an idea of which ones were definitely nice. Just scroll through. Oh, this one. Yes, Nova trying to kill everyone. 8 is too much? Nah, I'm going with 8. I'm sorry. Oh, right, that's right. The Rafali was the Rafali was one of their energy ideas. This is Strike trying to kill everyone. Novon Collider Facility. Yes, right. We had questionable transformations. Giant Pillar Strike Battery number 4. Challenger's Cavern, which is Nova trying to kill everyone. Meadow Plains of Tarkus, which is, I think, this one. Oh yes, this one was basically it was a jail, and it made people so happy that they forgot evil. We wish. Maelstrom Fields, Vertical City, Walls of Kima, The Tempest. Torrents of Myths, Forest the Bloody Archhunter, Strike trying to kill everybody, Nova trying to kill everybody, Prime not trying to kill everyone. Oh, that's right, the Grand Industrial Complex of Zepizik. Oh yes, that's right. Zordius Prime was also really cool. It gave history as well, but not quite there yet. Long Road was nice. Plasmadian Lakes, Novus Orbis, still not quite at the highest quality. The Great Encord, yeah, Luncta Sanctuary, yeah, this was amazing. It was a beautiful poem, very, very well done. Defender Citadel it was cool. These are cool. I'm looking for like really unique ones. I think the next one that I remember being really good, or that one of my other favorites was the bridge. Fuga Castle was cool as well. Where was it? The bridge. I think we talked about it. What's it called? CC. This one. Was it this? Is this the one? Yes, Bridge City, right. Bridge City is also prime. This was also super unique, and I really like this a lot. Next one we had, which was also really cool. The graveyard was, graveyard was graveyardy. We had the peanut. This is getting closer to where we are, closer to the end, I believe. And right, the Gnorilius Wasteland definitely earns a point for that as well. I think those three are the best. Yeah, I think those three are definitely the best. Yeah, I think we'll just stick it with those. Those are definitely my favorite submissions out of all of them. We have the it's a Nordius, the Nordius Wasteland, the Gnorilius, not Nordius, the Gnorilius Wasteland was really good. The Bridge City, as well as the poem that we were in. I think those are all the best ones that we've got. So I will be adding up your points. I will be dividing them by some strange factor that I deem fit, and I will be giving you blocks for your faction war. Faction wars are coming very soon, very, very soon. I've said that for like months, though. Faction wars are coming very soon. But they're still coming soon. They're always coming soon. Right now it's time to get into the next part of this challenge. Let us quickly switch to. It's not next part. It's time for the next challenge, giving war crimes extra points. No, it was well written and well thought through. The next part of the challenge is going to be, okay, so don't get started on this immediately. Do wait. You know what we'll do? Do I want to show my full face for this? Possibly not. Possibly not. We'll just. Oh, right. And we've also got. I'll have this. I'll pull this up. During this time, we've got a bunch of people. I need some water. My throat is giving out. Don't get started immediately on the next faction challenge right after I announce it. There are a lot of details. There are some tools that you are going to need, some color palettes that you're going to need. And as I mentioned, color palette, is this going to be an art challenge? Okay, so let me announce it first, and then I'll address some of these concerns. Right. The next faction challenge is going to be a pixel art map challenge. Pixel art map creation challenge. Is it an art challenge? Yes, but no. And the reason I'm saying no, it's not really an art challenge, is because I'm literally having so many restrictions on this that it doesn't really allow you to be as creative as you would normally with an art challenge. This is made to make the art easier and also to standardize the art for everyone. So it's less of this challenge is less of who has the better art. Is it more participation? A little bit as well. You don't actually need great art in this challenge. In fact, there are restrictions that I'm putting on you literally help you to make decent art and literally to make everyone's art pretty much on the same level. Right, so I said pixel art map creation challenge. So what we will be doing is every person will be getting 2 submissions for this one. And what you will be getting is only positions matter, not skill art. It does require a little bit of drawing in pixel art. So what you will be getting is each person can submit 2 96 by 96 pixel pixel canvas I guess images, right? And what these images would look something like this. Let me quickly pull it up for you to see. And why can't I see you? Hello, I can't see you. Oh, that's funny. It's not pulling it up. That's very, very strange indeed. I want to see you. Here it is. Right. So what your images might look like, this is what we're going to basically be creating. It's not really a map. It's just a part of the map. So basically, you're going to be creating islands in just 96 by 96. The max you can do is 70 by 70. Yeah, that's okay. 96 by 96 is just the maximum that you can go. Can you all see that? You all can't see. You all can't see what I pulled up. Let's have a look at this. There we go. This is what you will be basically creating. It's very simple. In fact, the color, I'll have a set thing that I can show you. So everyone will be creating only a part of the map. Now, you basically get to create an island. This is basically the points of interest that you've created. You can create Bridge City, Progress City, Zordius Prime. It's very small. Like, we've got a lake over here. We've got some sand areas. We have a basic outline on the bottoms of it. Very, very simple. Standardized colors for all of these. Please do try to follow the color palette as much as possible. If you do want to introduce new colors, it's a general Islands of War design. Outline it with a much darker version of the color. Your buildings can be pretty much any color. They can be any design as well, but again, outline it with a much darker color. Right. You can also, I also have these. I've created some special ones of these that you can use to decorate your islands as well. You know, just stick them, just drag them, copy a certain part of them, stick them on top. If you have some shops, put them on there. Again, okay, so can I do this right now? Let me quickly see. Let me quickly go into, let's see, stuff is happening. Actually, I might be able to show you what it's going to be like. I think I'll just do this on stream. So this is pretty much just announcing the next one. So I think I will go ahead and I can show you what it might possibly. Oh dear, I think do we want to do that? Let's try this. So I'm going to be switching over to my Mac since my Mac has all of my pixel art on it. Let's see, does this work? Let's switch this. This might be a bad idea. I'm trying to adjust all of this on stream. So it's pretty straightforward. Well, you're making little islands and putting them together. Right, perfect. Let's see if I can get you all to see what's happening, other than just stuff is happening. And I need to pull up something. Where is it? Templates, right here. Open with Pixen. Let's also close this. I want to close this. That should be okay. Yes, this should be fine. Let's see, full Windows camera, something like this maybe. And I can no longer read the chat. There we go. So this should be good. Let's expand this. Right. So it's pretty simple. You take this outline color right here. You draw your shape, right? You fill it with the grass color, and then what you do is you grab this outline here. Of course, try to get rid of the connected. It's kind of adjacent to one another. Those things right there, just get rid of that. And then you basically, you just put that there. Draw the general island shape. We might want this to go like that, something like that. Fill it with another color. Grab your buildings, whatever that is. You can draw your own custom buildings. Paste it on top. Bam, there you go. That's your new city. Something like that. It's not this shouldn't be too hard. And the reason for all these, oh yes, make sure you do use the right colors for this. Let's make sure I'm getting this correctly. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty simple. You can make whatever you want. Try to stick with this color palette. And the reason for that is because I'm not going to exactly be judging this. What I'm going to be doing on the live stream instead is I'm going to be compiling all of yours together. And instead of a judging stream, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be creating the map. This is going to be the map of IIsla. We will add. I'll leave plenty of places. We'll add what did I call them? I called them wind current highways. We can have different highways. We can place cities beside them. Pretty much during the stream is going to be me creating the map. Of course, if you do have, so yeah, there'll be a bunch of submission details. Do mention the name of the place you're putting, mention which territory or which territory group it might be located in, stuff like that. I will be sending all of these assets for you to use with all of the requirements very, very shortly. I really hope that this doesn't turn into, whoa, certainly you can put really cool buildings on your island. There's that, and cooler buildings are awesome. How am I judging this? I'm not going to be entirely sure, but this is not exactly an art challenge. Do understand? It's not going to be an entirely art challenge. It's kind of, hey, make an island. We get enough islands. We stick it together on a map. I was thinking of using a map tool, but it didn't, in all of my stuff, it was just way too difficult to process it. So we're just going to stick to pixel art. Anyway, back to this. That's been it from me, I guess. I hope you've enjoyed this challenge. This has definitely been a fun one. Fun ones to come up with. So I look forward to seeing what types of islands you come up with. Oh, I didn't mention something very important. We do need to mention something very, very important. Each pixel here on the ground. So if you want a general idea of the size of your island, each pixel here on the ground is 1 kilometer. So if you want a small, I mean, most of your islands aren't going to be that big, but since we have so many cities, so this island, if it's 1, if this is 8, that's 8 kilometers in long. And if we want like 70 kilometers, you would do something like that big. Just something really big. So that's something important to note for scale. If you want to do something, you know, a little bit small, you can have a bunch of tiny little islands as well. There's nothing stopping you from making a bunch of small little islands and then putting one house on each of them. I don't know. You could make Bridge City, something like this. Just put a giant bridge over it and figure it out, and then put like houses on top of it. I don't know, giving you ideas for different types of stuff. So I need to get rid of these before I accidentally save it. I will be leaving some templates as well in the submission challenge. Enjoy this one. I really hope that this becomes fun for everyone. And yep, that's been it from me. Oh, you couldn't see. Oh, garbage. Oh, I undid it and I didn't swap. Oh dear, what have I done? You couldn't see anything I was doing. Oh, I was drawing some cute little islands. Anyway, let's try that again. Right. As I was saying, you can create, you know, cute little islands over here, you know, a bunch of smaller little islands. So yeah, 1 pixel is 1 kilometer. You could even create a big island and then, you know, have that thing and then, you know, draw a bridge over it and then put, you know, like towers on it. And that could be cool. But yeah, let's undo the changes I've made. Yes. I'll undo that later. Anyway, yes, I hope you've enjoyed this. That's been it for me. I'll leave the shop open for a little bit after this live stream. Take care, everyone, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye for now.
You never started. You once destroyed a broken heart that was already shattered. Holding on to what we have and take us to the edge and back. Holding on to what we have and take us to the edge and back. Yeah, yeah. but you never started. You once destroyed a broken heart that was already shattered. Holding on to what we have, you take us to the